The big, beautiful bill passed. Of course it did. Of course it did. We all knew that it would. Didn't we? No, we didn't. I was getting emails from people. David, let's call this senator and get him to oppose the bill. And let's do this and let's do that. I said it weeks ago, okay? This bill is going to pass. Republicans were always going to pass some version of this damn bill in the Senate. The day it passed the House, on the bonus show, I said to Pat, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to have a handful of Republican senators. They're going to suck up media attention. People are going to go, oh, let's convince this person or that person not to vote for the bill. And then they don't have the 50 that they need. Apoplectic headlines for days, 4, 5, 6 days. People staying up all night. You should see the chat threads I'm in. Let's call this person's office that. They don't have the votes. If you have any idea how this works, you would have known the moment it passed the House, Republicans are going to pass this. And it's just a matter of offering enough goodies. We flipped one vote. Now Murkowski doesn't like the bill, but she got some goodies for Alaska. Now we got 50. In comes J.D. Vance to pass it. Okay? They had to pass this bill. They knew that the marching orders from the top, what the Trump White House demands is this bill must pass in some form. And so now we've got the whole same game going on. We can block it in the House. The House is ultimately going to pass some version of this, okay? And I wasn't pretending otherwise. Now, you might recall that over the last 2 weeks, I didn't do this whole thing of, this all might come down to Rand Paul, let's call his office. There were a lot of people doing that stuff, okay? You saw my interviews with senators and such last week, and they would say, what we really need to do is kill the bill. And of course, I agree ideologically, that's what we need to do. But it wasn't going to happen. And when this filters into the broader discourse, I think that it actually damages the possibility of, if we acknowledged somehow they're going to pass it, maybe we could focus on, let's get some things in the bill that are good for us, good for the American people. And so I've done this long enough to know how this goes. Now, here's the part that's going to be difficult. I think this is going to upset some people in my audience. Sometimes it doesn't seem everybody in my audience wants the truth. Okay? When I say they're going to pass the bill, David, you're being defeatist. David, you're giving up. When I say there is not really a path to stopping this, because it's going to be Republicans negotiating with Republicans to get 50 of them, because they have more than 50 to go, I'll go for it. And in comes J.D. Vance. And sometimes I end up in the position where I think some in my audience want me to sell a feel-good story. We can stop this thing if you just make the right phone call. If I go, guys, we're not stopping this. Can we get some things in there that we think are good? Maybe that's the effort, because we're not stopping this. I don't know which story my audience wants to be told. This is not the first time that honesty pissed off some people in my own audience. When I told my audience after the June 27th debate last year that Joe Biden is going to need to drop out of the race, it's unrecoverable. The pressure is going to be too great. He's going to have to drop out. A very loud section of my audience lost it and said, David, what are you talking about? Biden's not dropping out. You got to be behind him because it was obvious he was going to have to drop out. And some people in my audience didn't like that. When I said in September and in October, guys, Trump is beating Kamala Harris in every damn swing state poll. Every single one of these 7 states that are usually swing states, Trump's winning all of them. And I got flooded with messages saying, David, you're spreading defeatism. We need you to stay positive. On election night, when at 7:05 p.m. Eastern, the Indiana and the Kentucky numbers came in, and Trump was leading by 3 times what he won those states by in previous elections. And I said, that looks bad. And then by 9 p.m., as we saw the gap in Pennsylvania swing from a Harris lead to a tie to a teeny tiny Trump lead, to a medium-sized Trump lead, to a bigger Trump lead. And I said, guys, those numbers do not look recoverable. There aren't the votes left. There were people saying, David, it's only 9 o'clock. You're being defeatist. So what am I supposed to do? Okay. Am I supposed to lie to make people feel better? It's just not what I do. My preference is, let me say the hard thing and be right rather than say the comforting thing and let people walk into surprise. Okay. I'm here to tell the truth even when it's frustrating. This bill passed not because we didn't protest enough, not because we didn't call Rand Paul's office enough times or Lisa Murkowski or whoever. The system is fundamentally rigged and Republicans control everything. Now, I want to say one more thing about this. I still believe in pressure, right? It's not that I think we just let Republicans pass this with no challenge, calling their donors. I believe in all of these as tactics. We should make everything as hard as possible for Republicans to do. It matters to make them sweat and to recognize that a lot of this country despises what they're doing. That's part of the long game. But I don't see the value in doing the dog and pony show when we just don't hold the power and going, I think we can defeat this, guys, if we make enough calls. So there's a conflict. There's a contrast here, a tension between these two things. So I don't think it's time to spiral. I don't think we disengage. We expose the bill. We track the fallout. When it goes back to the House, we see, can we get some things in there that are objectively good, even though they're going to pass the damn bill? But I think we need to be a little more honest here. I don't know what my audience wants from me, but my instinct is not to do we're just one vote away from defeating this thing. They were always going to give handouts until they got to 50 and then bring in J.D. Vance to be the hero. So let me know what you think. Does this anger you? Do you not want to watch or listen to this show anymore? Because that's my attitude, not the, let me sell you some fantasies thing. I want to hear from you, okay? info@davidpakman.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if the perspective I'm outlining, if my attitude makes sense to you, and get on my Substack newsletter where I am going to be writing more about this at substack.davidpakman.com. I'm here. The mustache is here, albeit briefly. We've got a great show for you today. People in my audience know I am a bit of a pastry connoisseur. Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are customizable depending on what you like and prefer. They've got their classic variety box. They've launched the new gluten-free box. They have a plant-based box that's 100% vegan. And it just takes the hassle out of baking because all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less, nothing to clean up. My experience has been awesome. I love the croissants. I was having people over last week, half an hour before, preheat and throw them in the oven, and people love it. Definitely, the croissants are my favorite. The quality and the freshness of the items is extraordinary, and it is just so convenient. Go to wildgrain.com/Pakman to start your subscription and get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box every month. The link is in the description.